All right, welcome back to Mimas. So, as you can see here, we have some flat walls that I put on the ceiling. I just want to show you from this angle first because we're gonna be on the other side eventually here. So I'm gonna print off some reinforced walls just so we have those, because they're gonna be relevant. So this is a alternate save. I made a copy of it because I don't want to have to tear everything down and then rebuild it differently. Because this is for demonstration. And then I'm going to print some stellite glass sheets. I think we printed stellite glass before for the large extendable radiators. I think that's their official name. Okay, so we've got these. In here, you can see that it continues that flat wall all the way across, all the way to the airlock. I would probably do it in this room also, but like I say, this is for demonstration. And you can see some windows also. That's just so that when we're outside, I can show you where we are, so that you don't lose your bearings as far as our location in the base. So the primary goal here is that we're going to talk about different ways to move um, gases around your base, how to arrange your pipe networks. So first off, I wanted to show here kind of why it's not a good idea to put them on the other side of a wall. I'm just going to drop these off here for now. So yes, this as you can see, if you had pipes coming along here and you get to this point, I've got a light um, inside the airlock right below us, and that gets in the way of the blue pipe here. And then also, you'd be kind of limited on how you do your cabling. You uh, can't do it this way. You'd have to oppose this and then run the cable down, which I tend to do anyway. But I also don't like to have options limited. So what's probably a better idea is to put the pipes up a tier. And up above us, I'm just gonna go up there so you can see. Up here, I'm planning for a second floor, so we're kind of continuing that spine of the gas network all along there. So this is like the first option as far as transportation or pipe networking goes. Now the problem here is that if we go above, I can't jump above this. And especially with something this close, you might not want to do that anyway, because sometimes your suit likes to rupture. So we're going to remove that section, and I'll show you kind of the other direction. Now, ultimately, I'm not going to go with this design, but it's a valid way of doing it, so I want to show it. So that's how you typically will want to move move gases from your gas network, let's call it, or your piping network. Um, yep. So bring it down, and it is hugging the wall there, so you can't place like a light where that pipe is, and also you'll have troubles with cabling. But since you can do it for just one little section here, then you can either work around it with the lights or work the pipes around the lights, either way. So yeah, we could extend this network all along. There's let's see, where's the other airlock? I think, yeah, the other airlock's right here. So yeah, so I said to that we try and help you get your bearings here. So I'm going to pull out this wall, and you can see on the other side it's one of those windows. I'll pull out this one so that we kind of move around a little. There's my color palette for the pipes, and just like right about there on the screen, if we had X-ray vision, would be the lockers. But yep, that's the pathway we came around and the airlock we came through. All right. So what I'm probably going to do with the base is, at least for the majority, is use this method. So right now you can see we're surrounded by frames, and so you can catch your bearings on where we are. I can remove this block. So there we go. There's the lockers. Over here, as you can see, was the main airlock coming in. So yeah, just so since I can talk about this one a little bit more, I'm going to seal this up so it kind of keeps the illusion. So yeah, this is kind of the one I tend to go with, and I recommend more, because you can branch, or you can have them on the floor and on the ceiling. If you really need extra pipe work, you can have it on the ceiling as well. I just set up these three. So yep, you can, the one right next to the side here, you can branch off and go, down and up. And I'll show you the other sides of those in a minute. If you need to get the second or the third, you bring it up, over, and then down. And then, yeah, you can do the same for the other side. The only problem is that you can't have one here, because then that would block your path. Or, well, just so you gotta arrange the right way. You can't have it like that, because that would definitely block it. But that just means that you have to kind of stagger the locations of your cross beams. Have one going across this way, and I can still get through. Let's just to make sure the pipes don't get in the way. Yeah, you can see you can pass through fine. Okay, so on the other side here, I placed windows there just so you can kind of see what, that you can seal it in, can pressurize it, or depressurize it if you're on a planet with an atmosphere. So here's the other side. You can see that and now that we've looked from the inside, we can remove this and kind of look at all of it. So yeah, we were just down there, and you can see we bring the pipes up and do whatever we need. You can bring them down into the airlock. Let's go ahead and go down there. There we go. So yep, bringing them down in here. Now, I mentioned that I printed. Oh, I dropped them off, didn't I? Let's talk about the actual airlocks. So now one problem is that you're going to run into airlocks, and you're probably going to want to run the pipe network to them. Alternatively, you could have like maintenance hatches along your base to get in there, but it's probably more convenient to have like one central network. One place where you go in the door. Maybe one per level also, so that you can walk along and do any maintenance that you may need, or additions, corrections, etc. Let's remove. I can safely remove this because we came through this airlock. We'll remove this. And I'll remove the wall. Rather than put those away, I'm just going to drop them because, like I say, this is an alternate save. So now, when you're going through an airlock, one of the problems is that let's say you have either a ruptured pipe in your maintenance tunnel, um, that goes, let's say, just for sake of reason, to 500 kilopascals. Now the problem is, if you look at your doors, so we got from the door kit, or the kit door, the regular one, we have this, which is only 200. The composite are a little better at 300, which is the same as the walls. So that one's not so bad. But what you might need to do is, let's see. I think, yeah, I'm not finding it because it's technically it's called an airlock, which is what we have for our main base. Might need to upgrade to these if you're worried about pressurization. There we go. Because they have 1 megapascal of capacity. But then the problem would be if you've got that 1 megapascal, your walls still cap out at 300 usually. Windows are less. I think there's some variants that are a little different, but we don't need to go over all of them. But yes, what you can do is put in what's called a reinforced window. So let's bring that up so you can see its tolerances. We'll do the composite variant. That as well is 1 megapascal. I think some of the variants can reach 1.5. No, I'm wrong. Interesting. I wonder if that was a change or what. I mean, obviously, it's also possible. In fact, maybe probable that I'm just remembering wrong. So we use plastic to build the first stage, and then stellite glass goes in for the last stage here. If I can find the right place to put it. There we go. So now one potential issue, depending on how you like having your base laid out, this one is facing in there. So if we come down here, you can actually look up and see everything. Another way you could do it, and let's demo this with our main airlock. Okay, I've got the supplies I need. Good. Okay, so yeah, this is open, so I can safely come in here and remove this, because there's nothing on the other side other than our maintenance tunnel, but that doesn't have any pressure right now. Okay, now we gotta remove this. Okay. So yes, the other option, if you kind of like to keep that a little hidden, you can rotate it the other way. So before I had it placing on the ceiling, now we're going to place it on the floor for the area above. All right, so we still have the window here, but what we can do is come in with, say, a flat wall, place that in here. There we go. Now you have kind of the best of both. You have the 1 megapascal of resistance, and you still have kind of a masked area. It prevents you from seeing through up into the pipe network. But yeah, as I say, that's a matter of preference. You might actually want this so that you can see the pipes. But yeah, let's come back over here. Now, yes, one problem is if you're actually working with the pipes, if we place something in here, now when we grab our wrench, okay, this one we can access, but it won't always be that easy. I think if let's grab one of the liquid pipes here. I think liquid pipes would be too small for us to grab. Yeah. Oh, no, there are little places where you can get it. Okay. So yeah, I guess that would be a little more valid. But worst case scenario, let's say you do need to get one, like especially on the sides, you can always just pull off, um, pull it off, and then rebuild it once you're done. So I should be able to get this one with a wrench. Yeah, it's a little tricky, but you can. So yeah, there you go. That's kind of a couple of different ways to hide your pipe networks. Another option is you can do what I've been doing in my temporary setups and just ignore it and place them wherever they fit. But that's, yeah, another personal preference. All right, and we're back to our main save rather than the copy that I created. All right, first thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna print off the large satellite dish. We won't actually use it because we don't have the power for it, but I think now is a good time to get it at least set up, and you'll kind of see why when I get out into the trade area. I did forget how long that takes to print though. Well, we're here, and yeah, let's take a look at yep, we're still processing the multitudes of gas that we have in our furnace gas setup. It's the pressure. Oh, it looks like we got a little bit of carbon dioxide in our liquid tank again. That's unfortunate. But I'll fix that later. We're going to be working on atmospherics eventually here, so we'll deal with it then. I'll just come back for this. So yep, if you notice here from the first half, I've set up the doors, little airlock areas, so that we have ceilings to them, because I've stripped out a bunch of the steel frames that we have in our divider areas. We're also going to pressurize the communications room. So yeah, let's go out here and look. So yeah, you can see there's right in the center there. That's where one of the doorways is. And yet we've got a lot of the frames cut out so we can run our pipe networks. One thing I did forget to mention in the first part is that another option is that you could set up your pipe network and then put it in frames. I tend not to do that because I don't like I like to have it kind of as a part of my base, so I have like a maintenance tunnel and I can go in there and make adjustments whenever needed. I don't have to worry about pulling out frames to get to it. In a zero atmosphere planet such as Mimas, it's not necessarily as much of a concern. But if you have a really hot or a really cold planet, like for cold Europa, hot, say Venus. Venus is a big one because each time you remove a frame inside of that frame, so if it's a fully built one like what we have here, uh, when you pull apart that frame, it replaces the atmosphere of it with the base atmosphere of the planet. So if you're on Europa, it'll be super cold gas that'll be in there. If you're on Venus, it will be very high pressure, very hot gas. And if you do that in the middle of your base, then you have a lot to worry about. Okay, so yeah, as you can see here, I put in the ceiling. I don't know, I might go back and change this, make it a 2-floor place. I'll have to kind of see how I feel. We've got our an area set aside for the large dish. We'll go see if that's done printing now. One problem with that portable light is that it sometimes causes a lot of glare on stuff. You know, when you're looking directly at something and you have the headlight on, it tends not to glare quite as much, creates bright spots, but you know, it's easier to control because you just look away. Whereas the portable light causes a lot of unintentional glare, and you, other than moving away, you can't do anything. You can't pan your screen like you can with the flashlight. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, it's really big and tall. Now, one thing is you can actually put this inside of your base. It doesn't affect it. So you could pressurize it, but keep in mind that's a 4x4x4. And yeah, it takes up that'd be a lot of extra stuff to pressurize. Myself in this, at least in this run, I'm going to put it outside because I like the look of that. You know, if you're coming in from your bay outside, you can see it from a distance. It looks nice. Can I get in through here? I can. Good. So let's go ahead and build up the next stage of it. I think it's welder. Yep. I think there's 2 stages with steel and then 1 with plastic, which I do have set aside here. So wrench for the next phase. Doesn't actually need steel in it in your offhand, I don't think. Now we've got screwdriver. Now we need steel again with the welding torch. And then we need heavy cable coils. I don't think that needs a tool, just, yeah, heavy cable coils. Because this is a huge power hog. Alright, I think it's welder and then plastic. Nope, it's just plastic. So there I've got the plastic, and I've got some extra walls just in case I want to do any rearranging. Okay. So now the devs, I believe, made this with the intention of being able to access it from inside. So that's where our computer is going to be. We're going to put flat walls here, here, and here. We'll go ahead and build them up. That way you... Oop. I meant to do actual flat walls, not the panels. Let me correct that quick here. Scroll up 1. There we go. And I will be color coding things a lot. So far, whenever I build walls and windows and such, I've just been doing white, just mostly for convenience for now. Okay, as you can see, yep, we've the power section actually juts out past the wall. So that's, I mean, it's pretty clear that that's kind of their intent, is that you can do it this way. And then for this one, I'm going to put a window, because windows have a little bit of give. You can see here, so the flat wall would be right in line with the composite window here is, the composite part of it. And then the window starts a little bit in from that. So this one, to give us access, better access to the controls, I'm going to put a window in. There we go. And you can see the flat wall meets right up with the composite window. And yep, we have really good access to these dials. And then it lines up nicely to where now I can have the computer for the comms window, or for the communications, and then I can, you know, alt and click on the different dials. But as mentioned in previous episodes, the large satellite dish is extremely slow. very slow. I think to spin the dish around, it takes like 10 minutes. So if it's facing 360 here, kind of the way I'm facing, and then you want it to face 180, yeah, I think it takes like 10 minutes. Maybe it's 5. I haven't specifically timed it. But the facing of it is a little different. You can see it's got these two, what would they be? I'm just going to refer to them as rails. I know there's a better word, I just can't think of it. Uh, so this will slide along here. I think that's the controls for your direction, whereas the up and down for it is controlled by this. It goes back and forth on this rail. So yeah, that's how it works. But we'll demo that in a future episode. But mainly, I just wanted to get this set up and ready to go because we're gonna pressurize this area now. Take a nice look around. I decided to go with the airlock doors because I kind of like the idea of having, like a big hangar, and you have this type of door here. Problem is, the wire can't reach now our vending machine, so that is going to have to move. I might move it here, or I might put it over here. Maybe even create a bank of them. We'll just kind of see where it takes us. Let's to tell the airlock kind of which way it is. We're gonna, which mode it's in. Which airlock, what the orientation of the airlock is. So yeah, now if we pull this out, and if it was set up, it would say, pressurized to external or cycle to external. There we go. Okay, I know because I tested it. This one here is the external. So we have that one set up as exterior. Click that one's interior now. And as I mentioned, yep, cycle to exterior. So we'll go ahead and do that. It's not going to really help much. And I'm going to just hope that I have everything set up right, because we're going to pressurize back to internal. There we go. So yep, all the air came out, but we should be pretty good. We should have everything set up. Yeah, we haven't dipped below 3, so I'm pretty sure we're good. Now for this one, I don't need to keep the pressures different between the two areas, so I'm just going to remove the configuration from this one, and then switch it off. And I'll switch off the APC when we get some pressure in here as well. So yeah, eventually this is probably going to get the APC I've got here. It was a transformer before. You're not crazy if you remember it that way. I moved the transformer here because yeah, in the interim until we get more batteries, I might just put a nuclear battery in here so that we can do some trades. But all right. Now that I have kind of the areas like up above here and such, since I have those kind of hollowed out, I can start working on our pipe network. I don't even know, I haven't really made a decision on how many pipes we're going to bring around. So far I've been using the central pipe method, or base gas pipe, whichever you want to call it. So we have one pipe, and that handles all of our breathing, for us and for our plants. What I might want to do though is instead pipe around our main 3 gases, which are oxygen for our breathing, carbon dioxide for the plants, and then nitrogen to fill in the rest. You don't necessarily need to do that. it's just most people do because nitrogen is a fairly common gas, and it also kind of replicates the way Earth works. Um, the air we breathe, don't quote me on the exact numbers here, but I'm gonna get pretty close. Uh, our atmosphere is, I believe, 70% nitrogen, uh, 20. I forget whether it's 21 or 23. I think it's about 23% oxygen, and only 5% carbon dioxide. Um, so as far as it goes, the amount of CO2 that's in our atmosphere is actually really low. And then all the rest of the gases take like, I think it might even be less than 1%. So I think I messed up on one of those numbers. But like I said, don't quote me. Uh, so yeah, I think that wraps up this episode. That should be about a half hour once I merge the two halves together. We have another area pressurized. I'm guessing the reason it didn't fully come, yeah. So now um, it ran out of gas in the pipe there. That's why I waited to pressurize this area. We got more of the furnace gas pressure or processed. But we still have a long ways to go. And one thing is, we keep putting more in there with the H2 combustor. Okay. Right. We'll see you next episode. Have a good one.